Compliments of the season then to all from Cougar Park as the Cougars take the field, led by Steve Hall, the captain of the Cougars. Tremendous welcome here from the crowd. Wet afternoon, miserable conditions, both overhead and underfoot. Very, very important fixture for both these clubs today, with Hull Kr the visitors, and also probably with neither sides knowing that, as we are at this moment, both other contenders in the championship chase, Huddersfield and Batley, having lost their earlier day kick-off fixtures. Referee this afternoon is Steve Presley in the centre of the field, and for Keighley it's Andre Stoop, Andy Ayres, Nick Pinkley, Simon Irvine and Keith Dixon, Martin Wood and Chris Robinson completing the back complement. In the forwards, Ian Gately, Jason Ramshaw, Steve Hall, Darren Fleary, Grant Dory and Gareth Cochrane. On the bench for Keighley is David Larder and Phil Stevenson. And for Hull Kr, the fullback Gary Brown. Number 2, Adam Charlesworth. I have number 3 as John Adams. I understand it's now Mike Fletcher. Gary Atkins is 4, Mick Coult is 5, Mick Crane 6, Neil Wardrobe, the scrum half at number 7, and in the forwards, Paul Vanett, Sean Ho, Andy Thompson, Chris Harrison, Paul Fletcher and Paul Speckman. The substitute for Hull Kr, Andy Daylove, and Chris Charles wearing the number 15 shirt. Well, the men are in the middle. The referee, no doubt, explaining to them again the emphasis on the new instruction from Chapeltown Road to the referees, the players and the coaches about the play of the ball. And we've certainly seen plenty of activity from referees since that instruction was introduced a couple of weeks ago. So much so that it's been called for additional substitutes to be put into the sides certainly by Keighley coach Phil Larder. But the way, in fact, it's been going, I think we could even be looking at things like an American football side with offensive and defensive teams, the people going on and off the field. So frequent, but here we go. Mr. Presley gets us underway. Chris Robinson kicks up the field. And it's Paul Fletcher with the first touch for Rovers, getting almost to the 20-metre line. The last time these two sides met, of course, was over at Craven Park, New Craven Park. And the referee's already blown the whistle there, just decides to go back in. He's pulling out Nick Pinckney. Starting off then with a penalty for Hull Kr for the punch in the tackle indicated by Mr. Presley, and that's Fletcher with a kick into the stand. I was saying, Rovers, the last time these two sides met was in the Cup over at Hull Kr a couple of seasons ago, when Keighley almost pulled it off with that fabulous touchline conversion by John Basilou, only to lose in the last minute to that try in the corner and denying themselves a home tie against Widnes. But this is league action. The fortunes of Hull Kr have not been quite that good since. And the mistake there from Gary Brown, the fullback, allows Keith Dixon to recover. And the referee is going to penalise again fullback Brown for moving round too quickly.
In the press box here is last year, Sean Lomax. His son's in the press box. Thank you.
So Simon Irvine casts a glance up at us, right over the top of our position, and so play restarts. 5 metres inside as Steve Hall, the Rovers defence, get the first feel of Hall as he drives into their territory. Martin Wood now switches inside to Gately. Gately, though, well met there by opposite number 10, Andy Thompson, and Robinson across the face, switches back there to Dorian. Dory tackled 25 metres from the Rovers line now. Ramshaw onto Cochrane. Cochrane offers the dummy out there to Pinckney, but decides to take the ball inside. We're 18 metres now from that whole line. Robinson runs round with Wood, finds Fleary. A tackle across the chest there as Fleary brought to ground. It's the last one. Robinson puts the kick for the goal. In fact, was on the last tackle, that, and that's a very, very quick restart, catching Keighley completely unawares. And now we've got Mick Coult, the number 5 for Hull Kr, finding the sloppy stuff of the sand and the mud and the water in the centre there now as Paul Speckman takes play into the Cougars' half of the field. A couple of dummies offered there. In fact, it's now Crane, the number 6 for Rovers, 15 metres inside the Cougars' half of the field. Kick forward there by Wardrobe. And in fact, Andre Stoop dropping on the ball in the in-goal area. The perfect weight there on that kick. Going to have the drop out then from underneath those Cougars posts. And Keighley taking all the time in the world to get back there. I'm surprised that Mr. Presley hasn't stopped the clock. As Keith Dixon then gets the ball only as far as Crane. He gives the ball on to wingman Colt, who's tackled just short of the Keighley 20. Ball taken in this time by Thompson, running straight into that Keighley defence. 10 metres out now. This is Vanett. 5 metres now. This is real tackling time for the Keighley defence. Wardrobe with the chip. And in fact, a half obstruction there on the Keighley player. Yes, in fact, the referee spots the fact that even though Grant Dory did get to the ball, that he'd been impeded on his way through. Pressure relieving penalty then for Keighley as Simon Irving puts the ball safely into touch. And Steve Hall again drives in. Brought to the ground then 10 metres from the halfway line as Ramshaw, that acting half-back, feeds Gately. Gately bursts half through the first tackle, but hooker Sean Ho hanging on to the ankles as Robinson now finds Cochrane losing his footing in the heavy stuff. Ramshaw acting half-back. He's on to Grant Dory. Dory though steps back outside, offloads to Robinson. He has to dip deep for it, and the Hull tacklers were up quickly there. And Dixon skipping away. Andre Stoop bringing it back the same way, steps inside, but Charlesworth, the winger for Hull Kr, on the ball there, doing the tackling as Robinson finds Hall up the centre. Well, certainly it started off at a fair old pace as this game on the last tackle. Robinson with the ball high in the air, follows it, puts all his players on side and does the tackling on Wardrobe.
Message for Scott Judson, please. Scott Judson, 10-year-old. You've got your friend here, Scott Judson, 10-year-old. Could he go to the
And Cochrane wrapping up that Hull Kr player as he attempted to dummy his way around the defence.
Vanett, the centre of the stand.
Half escaping the barge tackle there of Ian Gately as Ho gets the ball away through the arms of Wardrobe onto Thompson, onto Harrison rather. Well, both those Keighley players were a good yard away when the referee blew his whistle, so we wait and see. We wait and see for the consistency of the application. If it's there all the time in the same method, then okay, fair enough. Vanett wrestled to the ground a dozen metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Andy Thompson just attempting to barge off the attempted tackles, but not able to get rid of Ramshaw and Gately. Wardrobe offloading in the tackle, gets it away to Speckman, onto Fletcher. Fletcher takes on Cochrane and beats him, and this is Fletcher, Mike Fletcher onto Wardrobe. Centre Gary Atkins brought down to ground on the Cougars 20. Suggestion of a knock on there. Well, the referee, I think, heard the crowd look to his touch Juju, offered him the advice. So with a scrum forming on the Keighley 20, but certainly the positive attacking so far has been coming from Hull Kr, albeit the Keighley defence certainly up to the task. Well, yes, you've got to agree with that. In fact, the number 8, Paul Vannick, just not even making an attempt to go down in the scrum, standing up there and expecting the referee to allow him to get away with it. He doesn't. He concedes the differential penalty, and it's Simon Irvine to seek the touch on the far side of the field into the main stand. Dixon and then gets the ball back to Ramshaw. He brings on Hall, who goes, splashes his way through the puddles. Ramshaw acting half back onto Martin Wood, switches back to Keighley as Keighley gets into the drier area. And it's Ramshaw once more. Robinson running the line across. Ooh, and a lovely leading elbow there. An elbow which led straight into the face of Cochrane, as Robinson now steps back the other way. Escapes the attempts of Paul Fletcher. Gets up, plays the ball. Ramshaw, Martin Wood. Grant Dory puts the kick through, but that hit the boot. And so the ball inside to over the far side. Gary Atkins, a couple of metres inside the Keighley half, as Coates tackled 10 metres further forward. Attempted to get up and continue again. Attempting to milk the penalty. Mr. Presley having none of it. And so play 11 metres inside the Keighley half still. It's fullback Brown. Well tackled there by Dory. Dory complaining to the touch judge that the elbows and the fingers were flying into the tackle there as the ball kicked into touch. Keith Dixon avoiding the ball as it goes through. Okay, our player, I think, possibly got some sand in the eye in the centre of the field, just wiping it as the message comes on, and hang fire whilst we get the sand out. So the referee quite happy to allow play to continue. He's not part of the pack, it doesn't matter. Robinson. Hull Kr somewhat slow to get back to that 10 metre mark on that occasion as Steve Hall takes on the loose forward Speckman, and Robinson now again. Dips and dances his way towards the halfway line, but he's brought down 9 or 10 metres short. Andy Ayres seeking the dry patches, and there are plenty of them at this side of the field as Keighley now takes in the swinging arm there coming in from Speckman. Spotted by the referee. The swinging arm certainly came in from Speckman onto Keighley. Referee just indicating to the Hull Kr players that he wants those tackles downstairs. So then Ramshaw, Keighley takes the drive. Again he's caught round the top, but it's the referee indicates it was the chest. Some of these folk have got long necks and small heads then. Robinson on to Martin Wood, finds Pinkney. Pinkney skips to the right, almost escapes the tackles. Speckman hanging on to the feet there as Ramshaw, 2 or 3 metres. Ramshaw just hanging on to that ball, pushed back down to the ground now as Robinson finds Cochrane. Cochrane loses the ball. Gary Brown, the Hull Kingston Rovers fullback, regathers.
Message please, Scott Judson. Scott Judson. Your friends in the press box. Scott Judson, thank you.
Referee wants, he's stopped the clock. I don't know if he's stopped the clock, but he doesn't actually call anybody out. He's now calling Steve Hall out. But the signal pretty poor. I mean, we know there's been some tightening up around the play of the ball, but they're certainly going to have to make it very clear precisely what they do want. If the ball's on the ground and the hand's off it, it's open season surely, and it looked to be on that occasion. I think 1 or 2 referees perhaps just adding a little bit of their own interpretation to the instruction. Mr. Presley not on his own, of course, on that. As Ho now gets play back underway, and Vannitt takes it 10 metres from the Keighley line, quite close to that far touchline side though, as he does. Chris Harrison 2 or 3 metres from the halfway line, and it's Wardrobe dancing his way across. Speckman gets the ball on now, this time to, well, back. Speckman gets the ball back, in fact, from Fletcher, Paul Fletcher. The kick out on the full. Far too much weight on that Gary Brown kick. The referee indicating a drop out there. In fact, it should be a tap restart, surely. The players know that, that's for sure. All being sorted out for a little bit of specialist treatment there from number 8. The touch judge at the far side saw it. The referee certainly didn't, and this man on this side saw nothing. The touch judge on the far side coming well over halfway across the field to see the punch, to report the punch or the elbow from the number 8 Paul Vannitt on Steve Hall. Well, in fact, he's pulled out Clive Harrison. That wasn't the man. Chris Harrison, rather. Certainly wasn't Harrison, it was Vannitt who put the punch in on Hall while he was on the floor. Rather disappointed in the touch judge at this side not being able to report that to the referee. The referee was marshalling the 10 metres as Keighley goes in, drives in straight into 3. Has the hair pulled, the face rubbed, as Hall now goes back in, driving in towards that 20-metre line. A little bit of attention just given Steve Hall that little bit of extra aggression as Stoop links in the line. And there's a professional foul here. Somebody's going for 10-minute rest. Mike Fletcher it is. Or is it John Adams? I don't know. It's number 3. So then patiently waiting as Dixon takes the ball in from that tap restart by Jason Ramshaw. Robinson was coming on the short as Steve Hall's going through. Half a metre from that line, the big fella's dragged to the ground. Robinson out then to Martin Wood, long ball out to Pinckney. Pinckney should have let the ball go out there to the wingman. Andy Ayres had got plenty of room, the ball should have gone out to Ayres. Nick Pinckney tried to pull off the miraculous grab out of the sky. It didn't come off, but surely if he'd allowed the ball to go through to Ayres and not tried to clutch the try himself, Ayres would have been in at the corner. As it is, it's a scrum, it's the Hull Kingston Rovers with the feed. 16 minutes on the clock and still no score. As Rovers get the ball from the base of that scrum, but the Keighley tacklers up to them, keeping them on that 20-metre line. And again the Keighley cover back, this time onto Gary Brown, the full-back. In fact it wasn't, it was Atkins. This is Wardrobe, the scrum half, Neil Wardrobe. Sean Ho tackled 89 metres from the halfway line, still inside the Rovers half. The player there offering to kick, deciding to hang on to the ball as the last tackle's called. Andy Thompson it was, now it's going for the kicker. And again, allowed to go dead by Andre Stoop for the tap. Restart on that Cougars 20-metre line. Robinson then. Steve Hall taking the first drive straight at Speckman, the Hull Kr loose forward, goes to ground, has the ball stolen, and another 10. Well, Paul Vannitt had a few words to say to referee Presley there, immediately got another 10 metres for his troubles. Well, hopefully that's an indication that what happened the other week when a Wigan player got sent off for verbal abuse to a referee and got nothing more than a fine for it. At least the referees are still in charge, and that the respect of the referees has got to be maintained by the players, as Darren Fleary now takes play well into that Hull Kr half of the field. Ramshaw to Robinson, on to Martin Wood, long ball out there, oh dear me, more in hope than anticipation that. Fortunately Keith Dixon was able to pick that one. Cochrane, tackle to the ground. Touch judge telling him to release the man in the tackle. Ramshaw, nice pair of hands between Ramshaw and Keighley as Cochrane steps through the centre, gets a crack around the head. Again, it's that number 8, Paul Vanett, who seems to be throwing the arms about quite recklessly. Martin Wood chips through for the chase, but fullback Brown's there. "15 metres from the Hull Kingston Rovers line. Harrison. Ball coming out now to this side, and a leading arm there, I think, by Gareth Cochrane. Mr. Presley telling him. Swinging arm it was, as the ball put into touch into the Keighley half of the field by scrum half Wardrobe. Hull then, the hooker, gets play underway as Vanett drives the ball in towards the Keighley line. Now it's 10 metres from there. Hull acting half back, he's going to find Speckman with that first pass onto Harrison. Right in front of those Cougars posts now as Hull acting half-back. Over there to the standoff, Mick Crane, but he's tackled to the ground, and Hull certainly had a line out to the left. Coult coming in on the dummy run on the inside, but the Hull Kr player decided to take it on his own, as does Coult indeed. As the last tackle called, the fence is a bit short on the left, but Hull Kr coming to the right. And Dixon taking the option there of putting the ball into the crowd. Safety first. And certainly Keighley have had a lot of pressure to withstand in this opening quarter. But, as it is, the defence has stood firm. Gary Brown then tackled to ground some 30 metres out. Vanett driving the ball in. Not at all interested in passing, just going to take the tackle, make the yard, sets things up as Wardrobe dummies to his left and then decides to step up half a gear to go forward. Oh, and some poor tackling there on Thompson, allowing the big number 10 to get almost to the line as Wardrobe gets the ball out there onto Speckman. Speckman back to the standoff, but Crane tackled. And Wardrobe spins the ball out there, but well, that's a good kick over there. It's hanging in the wind, and in fact, was he tackled without the ball? No, says the touch judge. He handed the ball into touch, did Andy Ayres. We certainly saw that. Didn't see whether in fact he'd been impeded as he went up for the ball, but it's a long way across to that far corner of the field from where we are perched on top of the scouting shed as Hull Kr now get the ball out from the scrum. Coult runs in. Beg your pardon, Charles Coult, yes. Right in front of those Cougars posts then as Crane feeds Wardrobe. A long ball out to the centre. The numbers were there again for Hull Kr as Gary Atkins brought to ground right in the corner. Wardrobe once more onto Speckman. Speckman loses the ball. He certainly went to take it, and he went without it. Keighley gratefully dropping on it. Dixon now hits the 20-metre line. Ramshaw onto Stoop. Stoop not had too many opportunities to show us his attacking flair. Been having to be involved with the defence as Pinkney fortunately ducks under the haymaker from Hull. Irving taking the ball up to the halfway line as he tackled Ramshaw to Robinson. Robinson puts the kick in, splits the difference between the fullback and the wingman. Brown tackled there by Darren Fleary, chasing that Robinson kick through quite well. And Charlesworth tackled just as he breaks through that 20-metre line. Harrison though, breaking away, the ball lost in the tackle. The referee, did he say it went back? He said it was a knock-on, that's for sure. So then the Keighley head and feed at the scrum. Referee Presley points at the defence to keep behind that 5 metres from the base of the scrum. As Robinson, and Dory this time taking his eye off the ball. Beg your pardon, Gareth Cochrane. Just took his eye off the ball and consequently spilled it, giving away the advantage and giving the advantage back, in fact, to Hull Kr with the head and feed as Wardrobe puts it in. Crane, 5 metres from the halfway line. Rovers standoff brought to mud. And Harrison now breaking over the halfway line, but brought back towards it by Fleary and Hull. Wardrobe tackled 10 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Ball fed on there and out, in fact, but lost as Simon Irving in. Well, the referee said it was a pat down on the interception, not a clean take. So that means then that it's another Hull Kingston Rovers head and feed. This time 15 metres inside the Keighley half, and it was almost one against the head there, but it came back as Fletcher gets the ball out there, and it's a galloping try away. The first score of the game. Gary Atkins, the man doing the scoring.
Rovers number 4, and that is Gary Atkins.
Well, that came from the quick, the push away, because it looked as though at one stage as Keighley were going to win that scrum against the head. The ball moved quickly across the field. Mike Fletcher back on from his 10-minute sin bin rest. It obviously did him good. He got the ball out quickly into the hands of Atkins, and he galloped through. Didn't have far to go, but he certainly got there, and underneath the post as well, giving the kicker, the man Fletcher, returned from the sin bin.
Number 3, Mike Fletcher.
Mike Fletcher had a check for a pulled hamstring before the game started. Certainly seems to be okay then, as that try then coming 26 minutes into the first half of the game. As Robinson restarts for Keighley. Wardrobe gets the ball away. A call for a forward pass from the crowd at the side. Certainly the arm action indicated such. Bannett driving in at Steve Hall, but the Keighley prop putting the other big fella down to ground as Harrison now drives in. Just a metre from the halfway line then, as Wardrobe puts the kick again, finding touch. So then, scrum down some 20 metres from the Cougars line. It's Robinson to feed. We should see this ball coming out the Keighley side. Indeed we do. As Dixon, half away but not able to completely get away from that tackle by standoff Crane. And Hall running at Speckman again, tackled by 3 Hull Kr players. And Dory bursting away from the first tackle, but a couple of backing up Rovers players there, completing it. Keighley then just inside the Keighley half of the field as Robinson switches direction, finds Martin Ward, but the whole defence over that side outnumbering the Cougars' attack. As the last tackle comes, Robinson picks that up one-handed, goes for the chip over the top. It's certainly a good one, finds his opposite number in a tremendous chase there by Ayres and Robinson. Stepping away quickly as the Rovers player very reluctant to play the ball. Now then, that too surely should be an infringement. The players get away, you don't play it. Now then, that's delaying tactics, just the same as holding down is delaying tactics. The Rovers defenders were not there in the position to start play again, and they just deliberately delayed the restart. Equally guilty of as is holding down. Now that ball, was it lost? It was lost, in fact. But, oh, and look at that for moving off the mark quickly, Mr. Presley, the man who's already spent 10 minutes in the sin bin, at least 3 metres to the side of the play of the ball before the ball had even moved, as Robinson finds Fleury. Fleury throws away the first tackler of Speckman, and Dixon at acting half back onto Robinson. He finds Wood. Wood over the far side, draws the defence, but fails to give the pass. And Robinson back then to Steve Hall. Hall taking it back into the defenders on that 10-metre line as the last tackle called. Ramshaw up the far side. Cochrane goes for the chase.
Substitutions off comes Ian Keighley and Gareth Cochrane, and comes Phil Stevenson and David Larder.
Well, the way in which Hull Kr restarted from that last chap, that was rather a dangerous time to put substitutions on. Hull Kr in fact had previously got back to that 20-metre line and caught Keighley backpedaling for the 10 metres, and as they were going to do that, Keighley decided this time to introduce 2 substitutions. Got away with it though. Robinson gets the ball from the scrum. As Pinkney now tries to step inside the centres, but not able to do so. Stoop going on his own to the right-hand side. Ramshaw onto Dory. Dory now takes play up to that 20-metre line, half through the tackle, but there seems to be 3 Hull Kr tacklers every time a Keighley man in the dangerous position has the ball. Hall runs round, finds a nice run round between Hall and Robinson, finding Fleury on the bump, but not able to get away as Robinson now inside to Wood. Wood gets the ball back out to Hall. Again, the numbers in the defence are there as Hall takes them on. Can he release the ball in the tackle? He does. Stevenson's in. Oh, how well Steve Hall did there. It looked as though we might have had one a few seconds earlier when he operated a tremendous run round with Chris Robinson. The scrum half finding Fleury, but it didn't come to anything. But then when play was switched to the left and quickly back to the right, Hull, I thought, got the cover there, but Hall went on a diagonal run, managed to release the ball inside a 3-man tackle, and there was Stevenson waiting just to take the ball and flop over for the try. Keighley's back on the board, or are on the board at long last, 32 minutes into the first half of the game. A lot on this kick now for Simon Irving to bring the scores level. But what a tremendous effort there by club captain Steve Hall. Concentration, the name of the game now for Simon Irvine. Well, indications from behind, and the touch judge says the score's a level.
Super Simon and Phil Stevenson with his Cougar try.
Darren Fleury stopping the ball with the legs there. Ramshaw onto Robinson now, finding Ayres in support. And Ramshaw just taking the ball in, driving in again. Those three Hull Kr tacklers in at the man. Speckman having to run alongside Robinson there because he hadn't made the 10. Robinson gets to the halfway line as Ayres goes on his own now. Out then to Irvine, but there's 4 Hull Kr players there, but Irvine still manages to get away. Looks for the offload to his left, but there's no support for him to get it to. The last tackle onto Robinson. And a knock on. Well, I think possibly the Hull Kr player there somewhat fortunate to get away with that. Hit the hands, came down to ground, he was facing players, it hit him, it must have gone forward before it came backwards. And that's what's important, the initial movement of the ball. What happens to it after it's gone backwards doesn't really matter. Oh, wrapping the arms around Paul Fletcher there and preventing him offloading the tackle. Wardrobe puts the ball over the far side. Andy Ayres under it, knocks it back. Yes, well, he was facing his own post on that occasion. Stoop going into touch. Well, that was the first tackle, and certainly a player of Andre Stoop's experience should have told him that is not the way you go, particularly when the ground's wet. You don't need much of a push to find yourself over the whitewash.
Substitution, Paul Van Ithoff and Chris Charles on.
So then Crane gets the ball away there to Atkins in the centre of the field as Hull Kingston Rovers come down. This is Charles, the substitute for Hull. He's replaced Paul Vanett. And again, the Rovers on the rampage. Fletcher, though, Harrison rather tackled just inside, on their own from the acting half position. There's plenty of space at acting half at the moment with these new rules. The application of the rules as Charles now. Tackled on the last one by Ramshaw and Stevenson. And stepping inside, Fleury there, and oh, that's Charles. Oh, dearie me. Well, a bit of a gift there for Hull Kr.
Hull Kingston Rovers, Chris Charles.
Not coming at the best time as far as Keighley is concerned. 4 minutes before the half-time break. And with the conversion to come. Well, ironically, both those two tries, the last two tries, coming scored by the substitutes, literally seconds within being introduced onto the field. Fletcher successful with the conversion.
And the conversion by Fletcher.
Robinson then restarts. That's got to be a knock-on. Well, he got away with it last time. I thought he was fortunate to get away with the last time was Wardrobe. But the commentator's dream there of the name. The close came off the hangers there inside that Wardrobe. I thought they came off last time, but referee Presley had a different interpretation or a different view of it, as Robinson now goes away from the base of the scrum. Irving tackles just inside the Rovers 20, gets up, plays the ball onto Stoop, he finds Wood. Martin Wood had Larder in support inside him, but opted to take the tackle 10 metres out now, onto Hall, the big fella charging in on that diagonal run that brought the last Keighley try. Ramshaw, Stevenson on the dummy run as Robinson now tries to work his way through an almost impossible wall of players as Ayers skips through that sanded patch in the centre, finds Larder. Keighley have got the numbers. He said it was patted through by a Hull Kr player. Oh, and really Keighley fast asleep there. Nick Pinkney fortunately turning round and taking that ball, which was played quickly. It's all right saying you've got to play the ball quickly, but if you've nobody acting half back taking notice of it, you're in trouble. As Fleary now gets the ball from Robinson, 5 metres inside or from the Hull Kr line. Ramshaw switches to Robinson. Robinson, oh, half through the gap, which closed. Well, that can't be 6 tackles. It's only 3 since you call count back, Mr. Presley. Well, the count back was called over here, and I counted 3 tackles, and the arm goes up in the air. Well, maybe we're on 4 tackle rule now. I don't know. Hall doing the tackling there on that Rovers defender. The headgear flies off. Ramshaw acting half back as Rovers forced to push the ball out towards the flanks. 12 points to 6, they're in the lead. Half a minute of the allocated 40 plus stoppages to go, and Keighley going to be penalised for moving off the mark. Just a shame that the referee didn't spot Mike Fletcher doing that just after a return from the sin bin, in a similar position on the field as well. Rovers just, I think, had the message that the half-time is on its way, and we've got a 10-minute sin binning coming up here for Keighley. Jason Ramshaw having a 10-minute interval and a 10-minute rest as well. So then Wardrobe puts the resulting penalty into the crowd, and it's 20 metres from the Keighley line now. Well, I don't suppose Keighley will be sorry about that one. I'm fairly sure that Hull Kr will not be too pleased. There goes the half-time hooter. 12 points to 6, the scoreline reading. Keighley's try coming from Phil Stevenson, goal by Simon Irving, and the 2 tries for Hull Kr from Gary Atkins and from Chris Charles, with a couple of conversions from Mike Fletcher. Half-time score then, Keighley Cougars 6, Hull Kingston Rovers 12.
Okay. There we go, back to it's Cougar time. All right.
Half-time over then, new shirts both sides, clean shirts both sides. And certainly all to play for in this second half. Keighley of course playing down the slope here, with the wind and the elements and the rain at the back.
Cougar experience. Let's go for it.
Hull Kr certainly well used to playing into conditions like this, as the wind comes not only off the Humber estuary but all the way from the Dogger Bank on occasions, rain as well. So it's not strange to them, but we'll see how they perform against the slope as well as the wind and the rain. As Darren Fleary now tries to work his way away from the defensive area into form and linking up to build on attack, as Grant Dory now gets to 30. And Robinson at acting half-back brings the ball down the short side. Stevenson hits the half line. Gets up, plays the ball onto Robinson, finds Hall in support. Steve Hall driving in. Referee calls the last one. Martin Wood into Robinson. Robinson puts the kick through for the corner, for the chase. The referee waves all on. The ball holds on the surface there. Fullback Brown doing the business as far as they were concerned. Fletcher driving the ball clear of his own 20 onto Harrison. Harrison, big number 11 for Hull Kr. A couple of drives there, bringing play almost to the halfway line as Charles gets there. Keighley, remember, without hooker Ramshaw for 9 minutes of this second half, having served about a minute. Obviously temporary dismissal into the sin bin in that first half. Referee calls all on. Andre Stoop looking to see where they all are, having to work wonders to get away from there. He's going back as though he'd all the time in the world as Keith Dixon now works away 10 metres out. Robinson to the 20-metre line. On to Dixon, finds Hall. Hall comes down, gets into gear, gets a good 10-15 metres. The Cougar call goes up from the crowd below, round and all around us as Robinson skips through the centre. And it's Dixon, puts the kick in. Well, it's a good high kick, and it's missed by the fullback. The fullback claims that he never touched it. The referee has a different idea. He certainly went for it, that's for sure. So the Dixon kick was, in the event, a good one. As Rovers face the dropout, Keighley should get the ball back, be able to build on the return of possession from this dropout from underneath those Hull Kr posts. It's certainly a good kick. Finding the splodgy stuff, knowing that Stoops really going to have to get into gear before he can get away from that. Managed to get 10 inside the Rovers half, plays the ball to himself. Now that player certainly didn't make the 10. It was shadowing Stoop all the way. It was Speckman. As Hall now goes on the rampage. Tremendous run there again by Steve Hall. Leading by example as Robinson gets the ball out to Wood. Wood puts the chip through for the Pinckney chase, and the momentum takes him over in the corner. Nothing silly there from Nick Pinckney. He knew all he'd got to do was drop close to the ball and then secure it, and the sliding momentum taking him over. That's a tremendous start there for Keighley in the second half, but a tremendous drive again in by Steve Hall, setting it up in front of the post. Martin Wood put the clever kick through. Nick Pinckney won the chase for the touchdown. Keighley then back within 2 points of Hull Kr within 4 minutes of the restart. And so they gave him medicinal compound. Now he's learning how to fly. Cougar side. Simon Irvin then from 9 metres in from touch. Looks good. It is good. Level again. Level again, but with a man down. Mike Fletcher then to restart for Hull Kr. Ball striking the chest and going to ground. Keighley player, in fact, Hull Kr player injured there. The ball Well, the appeal going to the referee for the penalty, which has been given to Keighley. But one or two bemused players looking from Hull Kr on that decision. I thought, in fact, that the Keighley players were appealing for the ball having been stolen. And the referee has given the penalty for
4,722. Yo!
4,722 people packed into this Cougar Park then this afternoon for this game. Tremendous tribute to people turning out on such an atrocious day as this one. Player recovered then. Keighley on the end of the penalty. Again, I think, as I was saying, the referee giving it for interference at the play of the ball. Looked as though, in fact, the ball had been stripped out. I suppose it's just the same. Robinson gets the ball in there, but Dory tackled just before he reaches the halfway line. Martin Wood switching the ball round. Keighley certainly seemed to like playing in that wet patch. As Steve Hall gets up, plays the ball to Robinson, on to Martin Wood. Switches there to Stevenson rather. 10 metres inside the Rovers half of the field as Robinson finds Fleary. Fleary through the gap, breaks the first tackles, busting through tackles as he goes. 10 metres now from that Rovers line. Robinson plays the ball as Rovers move off the mark quickly. Steve Hall in there, right in front of those Rovers posts. We look for a point now, surely. Who's the man going to do it? Well, Robinson was the one who went for it and he gets the try! Oh, Robinson does the cheeky one again! Well, we all thought we were setting up for a drop goal. We looked a little bit bemused that Robinson had done what he did, but what a mess there in the Rovers defence. 3 Rovers players tried to kick the ball dead, all failed. Chris Robinson gets the touchdown. Whoa! Well, it took Chris Robinson quite some time to score his first try for the club, but he's scored 3 in the last 3 games now, so 1 in the last of each of the 3 games that we've witnessed. Whoa.
Chris Robinson.
Simon Irvine then. Eight and a half minutes in the second half as he puts Keighley 6 points up and still the man short. I've no doubt the question might be being asked is, do we need 13 on the field at the moment? I'm sure we do. But you're normally looking to play a containing game when you're a man down. Keighley have actually scored 12 points without Jason Ramshaw.
Back comes Jason.
Ramshaw back on the field and Keighley wanting to make a substitution. Darren Fleary, the man, or the board that's gone up, Ian Gately to be replacing him. Dixon on the 20-metre line then for Keighley, coming forward. Ramshaw immediately taking over the generalship of the acting half position. And Dory now straightening things up as he drives down towards that halfway line. Ramshaw acting half back onto Ayres. Ayres in the middle of the field, half through the tackle of Speckman, but can't escape completely as the last one comes up. Onto Robinson for the kick. Again, the ball just checking in the sloppy stuff. Charlesworth for Hull Kr, brought to ground 30 metres away from his own try line. Harrison held up in the tackle there as he tries to break away, and it's out this side too. Another one, but again he's driven down to the ground. That's number 15, Charles. and Wardrobe trying to set something going for Hull Kingston Rovers as he too's tackle. The last one comes up. The Cougar call goes with it as Horse gets the ball. And that one just bouncing inside the field of play.
Okay, substitution, on comes Ian Gately and off comes Darren Fleary now. Well played, both of them.
Darren Fleary now taking a well-earned rest on the bench as Ian Gately comes on. He'll take his place in the front row of that scrum as it forms just 20 metres away from his own line, but with the opportunity of getting the ball from it as Robinson feeds, breaks away. Martin Wood into the centre of the field, tackled 20 metres out. Robinson again has the ball stolen. And one thing that I've spotted with this Hull Kingston Rovers defence, when they tackle one of the tacklers certainly causes problems by staying around the marker position. Speckman's got to be offside and he's going to get 10 minutes for his efforts. He's really got to go for this one. Jason Ramshaw's certainly going to have to be careful. He's already had one yellow card. That was for interference, but I'm not too sure on the operation of that yellow card for technical offences. Does another yellow mean it's red? Or can you have two yellows? Wouldn't really like to test the theory too strongly. Ramshaw then gets Gately in. Gately drives in straight into the wall of those defenders. Come back to put some extra firepower and punch into these drives in as Hall now takes a second one. Plays them all then. Ramshaw drops it, but it's gone behind him as Stevenson takes play in now, having to just settle things down. And Ramshaw going on his own from acting half-back, 10 metres away, and Martin Wood puts again the kick over for the chase. Who's on it? Andy Ayres. Whoa! Oh, and just look at those Hull Kr defenders. They can't believe their eyes. Completely outstripped there. That's two kicks by Martin Wood in this half, both resulting for tries. Andy Ayres this time on the end of it, Nick Pinkney previously. Well, it's upstairs for thinking, downstairs for dancing, but the thought and the action from the boots comes there from Martin Wood. He certainly thought about it, and the boots did the rest.
And there you go, Randy Pandy, Andy Ayres. Go Andy boy, get him, give him some pay, boy.
Well, certainly our man on the channel has been digging deep into the archives of the BBC for that one, the Andy Pandy thing. I don't think Andy be too pleased with his Watch with Mother title. I don't suppose he'll be too bothered. No, well, Simon Irvin, this one goes over, but no. $22 points to 12 then. Cougars were certainly quiet in the first half, but my words, this second half has been a totally different show as far as the man on the scoreboard has been concerned. He's been very busy. Robinson monitored that ball all the way into his arms from a considerable height. As Dixon now tries to skip his way through, but he's going down the ground on that 20-metre line. And Dory straightening things up once more, driving in. And it's Gately. on the rampage, driving in, bursting out. Andy Ayres down the inside, steps inside. Down the outside rather than stepped inside. 20 metres away now. Being held down in the tackle, but Robinson gets the ball away to Wood, onto Hall. Hall straightens up in front of those Hull Kr posts. Now it's the last tackle. Ramshaw rather going on his own this time, pushed out of the way. Well, it was certainly a player doesn't have to get out of his way, but he certainly made a distinct attempt to push Ramshaw out of the way. In fact, the penalty's been given to Keighley, and surely if you got a penalty for that, that's also a professional foul as well. A deliberate push out of the way there as Ramshaw went to chase his own kick. Surely goes down in the category of professional fouls, and consequently 10 on the bench. Not so, unless of course he's just waiting a little bit longer before he gives him it, holding him in suspense. We'll wait and see as Simon Irvine looks to punish it with points. He does. Substitution looking now for Hull Kr.
Super Simon.
Stand off Mick Crane leaving the field.
Substitute, on comes Andy Dale, and off comes Mick Crane for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Dale on. Fletcher restarts. Ball controlled with the boot there, and good chase by Hull Kr back to the Keighley 10 as Dixon gets the ball there onto Ayres. Ayres half away, just half a step from being through that gap. Martin Wood does the juggling act. Forward pass there then from Jason Ramshaw. Out the back of the scrum then as Wardrobe gets the ball away. Dale gives a no pass there to Fletcher, to Mike Fletcher. As fullback Brown joins in the line, takes play inside the Keighley 20. Oh, on to Wardrobe. Wardrobe finds winger Mick Coult. And again it's Wardrobe working across the far side. Just that little hesitation in his step, slightly putting off the defence, but it closed up very quickly as Dale now finds the supporting Harrison. Last tackle comes, and that's Dale going for the kick through, but the boots, I think, of Grant Dorey, it was Grant Dorey indeed, preventing it going. Phil Stevenson losing that ball, goes back. The referee just looked at the touch judge, who waved his arms, and Andre Stoop on his own 20-metre line. Robinson then just dummies to his left, to his right. Out to Hall. Hall driving that ball in. Last tackle comes up. Ramshaw kicks down this touchline side, splits the defence. Fullback Brown doing well there to skip through those defenders on his way back to the 30-metre line. Ho gets the ball out now. This time it's Thompson for Hull Kr, but met there by Gately, Dorey and Stevenson. Ho moves the ball out. Harrison in support, but brought down 5 metres from the halfway line as rain lashes down. Dale switches the ball inside, gets back to the supporting Wardrobe via the hands of Fletcher. 10 metres now inside the Cougars' half as Dale spins the ball out this side, just adding a little bit of extra dimension to Hull Kr as The ball now gets onto Atkins. Atkins, though, tackled 18 metres out. The last one comes up. And penalty. Penalty there to Hull Kr, as Wardrobe's going to take the tap. Inside to Dearlove. Dearlove has a supporting Coult with him. Nick Coult, the winger, number 5 on his shirt. Sean Ho, acting half-back, onto Harrison. Harrison's going to take this in on his own. There's no attack at all outside him. But it's only a couple 5 metres from the Cougars line as the ball switched to Dearlove. Out there on the far side. Good tackling by Keighley. Simon Irvine it was doing that tackle again as Dearlove switches back inside this time. Just inside the 10. Keighley having to do some tackling and defending here as Hull gets the ball out, but oh no way was that. That ball certainly went forward. But Robinson said thanks very much as Dearlove put the kick in. But really, how on earth Mr. Presley could even consider that ball to have gone backwards, I just don't know. But backwards he said it went. Handed on there to Andy Ayres. Dixon taking the hand-on pass from Ayres as Dory now straightens things up once more but gets driven back. Ramshaw onto Hall. Hall again straightening up, offloads to Stevenson. Stevenson looks for the support, decides to go back because I think nobody wanted it. This is Robinson now. Robinson puts the kick over the top for the chase, but the full-back's there. Plays everybody on, and Ayres and Pinckney doing the chasing. Tackle the full-back on his own 20-metre line as Coult now tries to get away, gets away from the initial tackle by Pinckney, but brought down as he's made the extra 10. Ball lost in the tackle. Well, the referee's a lot nearer than we are, but that ball certainly looked to shoot out of the hands. It didn't look to be assisted out, that's for sure. Hall gets the ball on then to Harrison. Harrison drives forward, but Keighley puts him down to ground. Wardman using the man coming through on the dummy run there, Charles. 25 metres out then as Hull Kingston Rovers launch the attack. Referee again says it went backwards. They're certainly taking account of the conditions this afternoon with the decisions, that's for sure. Or at least that's the excuse we'll offer. Offloading in the attack. Martin Wood, though, wise to the event, sniffing there for that possibility. As Stoop now loses his footing, and if he's not careful, he's going to finish up on the Turresin. Hall having to go from the acting half-back position himself instead of getting the ball at first receiver. Gets to within a metre of that 20 line as Ramshaw finds Martin Wood. Wood steps to the left-hand side, but the arm of the Hull Kingston Rovers tackler just checking his momentum. Grant Dorey. As the last tackle comes up. And again, the interference there from Hull Kr not getting up, causing trouble. And again, it's a good kick as Simon Irvine's there, chases the ball, gets it, does it? It's picked up, it goes backwards. Referee gets the indication from the touch judge that it was touched by the Hull Kingston player as well. Irvine onto Ramshaw, moves it out there to Martin Wood. Long ball out to Pinckney. Pinckney misses it though, it's gone backwards. Well, the arm action said it went backwards. I think we just leave these decisions alone. Obviously, Mr. Presley's got some of his own, and we'll do as well not to even talk about them. But certainly the interpretation of what and what is not a knock-on, we seem to be very much at variance with the man in black. Andy Coult doing the run out there, breaks the 20-metre line as Dearlove gets the ball out there into the centre position. And certainly Atkins allowed a lot of opportunity to run there in that central position in the heavy area. Eventually goes to ground just inside the Cougars half. On then to Wardrobe, finds Speckman in the position, misses out 2 players deliberately or otherwise. As Coult goes to ground again, 7 or 8 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Speckman. Dearlove. 30 metres out, offloads in the tackle, the fullback just gets a hand to it, and I'm not sure the fullback's expressing his annoyance at the referee or at the man who passed the ball to him. Certainly Brown not too happy at all with what happened there, whether it was the decision or the fact that he knocked it on, I don't know. Robinson unable to get away there from the base of the scrum as Wardrobe round very quickly. Stoop goes on his own from acting half. Instructions galore going onto the field, as seems to be the case these days. Martin Wood just inside the Rovers half of the field. Ramshaw gets the ball out to Gately. He feeds the ball out to Dixon. Dixon's going to kick and he's checked. But this time the man didn't get out of the way, but in fact call back for the forward pass from Gately to Dixon. Grant Dory off then.
Off and on comes Darren Fleury. Well played to
Fleury back on.
There. Yeah.
Just about 13 and a half minutes, 12 and a half minutes left before the final whistle. Scoreline currently reading is 24 points to 12 in Keighley's favour as Harrison brings play towards the halfway line for Rovers. Dearlove offers but hangs that ball, that pass back. Atkins eventually gets it just underneath us. Cool to acting half back, gets the ball away to Wardrobe. Brown in the line. 10 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Sean Ho acting half back, runs across the face, looks for the support, finds him in the outside position. Ball chipped over the top for the chase. Robinson on the end of it, hits the feet first, I think. Referee quite happy anyway, but now he's given the knock on. Well, it seems rather strange that you're given a knock on there when you're facing your own line, because he certainly didn't bowl for the first knock on, that is for sure, which might have been one. Maybe the whistle, the P in the whistle's not operating very well.
Looking through a substitution, Bannett for Thompson.
Bannett back on as Thompson goes off, as Rovers now from the base of the scrum work their way into the centre of the field. Dearlove in the sanded area in the centre there as the ball comes out now. Bannett supporting the play there, but moving away from it now as Speckman gets the ball out that far side. The chip over the top for the chase. And now then, did Dixon take that on the full in the try line? I rather fancy he might have done. I certainly thought Dixon had taken that ball on the full over the try line in the corner. As it is, he's tackled inside the in-goal area. Difficult to see the lines from so far away, but it certainly looked as though it was over the try line when he took it.
293, you get your winnings at the complex after the game. 293, winning ticket. I'd like to thank our mock sponsors today. That's Alamar Self-Serve, Stuart Blakely, Kirkland's Contractors. Man of the match will be on Jora David Alger, who'll be shortly coming up to tell me who that's going to be.
Just having a knock on the
sponsor,
as he was tackled, obviously caught a knee or something in the tackle.
And not forgetting Old Magnet.
Back to Dixon, the man who's going to have to do the dropout. Does indeed. Good one. Bannett though just uses the boot to control it, picks it up and straight back to the arms of Fleury and Martin Wood. Coult spinning as he gets tackled and gets to within 15 metres of the Keighley line as Atkins comes up on the short side on the dummy, but it's Dalove on the run round over the far side, gets the ball out to, looks like it might be centre Fletcher. As Wardrobe brings on Harrison though as well, spinning as he's going forward, always the difficult one to tackle when they're spinning in that nature. As Wardrobe knocks on, oh no way, come on Mr. Referee, goodness me, let's have some fair interpretation of a knock on. Wardrobe then, last tackle comes up into the centre of the field now. So running at the play, Speckman though offloads, and the ball's died, gone to ground. The last tackle, it's a handover now for Keighley, 6 tackles to work themselves away from this dangerous area and into the Hull Kingston Rovers half of the field. Certainly the defenders on Hull Kingston Rovers side of the field, on the far side there, Dalove it was well offside. And again, as Mr. Presley fails to look to his right hand side. Quick glance now, but as Keighley drives in, gets towards the halfway line, again 3 tackles it takes to bring him down to ground. And Steve Hall breaking through, looking for the support, but the ball only just secured as Dixon gets the ball now high in the air on the last tackle. It's a good kick, it's all on, says the referee, but it's equally well taken by Mick Coult. Atkins gets the ball away from the touchline side into the centre of the field as Ho now operates the ball lost there. 30 metres from the Rovers line, that's the scrum will form. It's the Keighley feed. We've got just over 7 minutes, in fact just under 7 minutes now of running time left as Robinson gets the ball away. Martin Wood slows things down there as the scrum breaks, and Robinson now scampers on his own 20 metres out. Wood at acting half, back again going on his own from acting half. That's three tackles there where the player's gone away. Received a knee to the side of the head there, did Wood, from the man at second marking position as Steve Hall now drives in. In fact, the ball lost. Speckman 30 metres away from his own line as Keighley and Robinson do the tackling. Ho onto Wardrobe onto Harrison there. Harrison carrying that ball loose, looking to offload, but can't do so. As Ho now gets the ball away. This time it's Vanett in possession. Gets the clean shirt somewhat dirty as he goes down there in the slop. And the kick goes through for the chase. Ball going into touch on the 20-metre line, so we've got a scrum forming on that Keighley 20-metre line, just eating up those valuable seconds as this is the man of the match award coming.
And the top cap today on man of the match, and that's by David
Robinson gets the ball then onto Andy Ayres. Chris Robinson gets the man of the match award and gets interfered with. Well, we've seen keen application, we've seen no application this afternoon. Stevenson through the gap. He isn't going to go all the way, and there's no support that side of him, that's for sure. But that was a good run there by Phil Stevenson as Steve Hall now takes play on through the splashy puddles at the far side. Robinson, Martin Wood just holds that pass as Pinkney gets on to Stoop to beg your pardon, it wasn't Pinkney, it was Irvine on to Stoop. And now it's Ayres with the ball out to Stoop. Stoop goes for the kick forward. Go through and chase it, put them on side. He has done, but again, the whole full-back safe as a row of houses under that high kick. Rovers looking to work their way back towards the halfway lines. Substitute Charles reaches 15 metres short as Atkins now drives in. Oh, acting half back onto Wardrobe. Wardrobe runs round there with Dearlove on the far side there to Fletcher, but Fletcher allowed to get away, and the knock-on comes there from Adam Charlesworth just when he looked as though he may have been going to get away. Scrum forms then some 14-15 metres from the halfway line as Dixon gets that ball, being pushed a long way back towards his own post. Somebody help him, will you? Well, the players, you are allowed to help them when they're being pushed back. You don't have to stand back and watch. So then, from what was Keighley possession, now should be Hull Kr's possession, providing they want it, of course, that is. Steve Hall not able to get to the full-back, Brown, on that occasion. Player then just inside the Keighley 20, over the far side of the field. Hull Kingston Rovers into the driving rain, sliding through the would-be tacklers there. I think it's Harrison, right on the line. Wardman expecting that ball. No, this is Harrison, brought to ground. Good chase out of defence there by Simon Irvine as Speckman gets the ball out to Dearlove, switches inside to Charles, but Charles tackled on the last one. Is it number 5? Inside to Wardrobe. Wardrobe puts the kick in for the chase, knocks the ball back over his own line as Dixon goes left, goes right, and almost gets dragged back over the try line. Stevenson on that 10-metre line. Ramshaw 15-16 metres out as Steve Hall now takes play up, looked for the support but decided that driving at the opposition was the best option as the last one comes up. Look for a kick deep downfield here, I would imagine, from Robinson. Well, it's not deep downfield, it's into the heavy stuff and it just checks there, but nonetheless it put Hull Kr back down in their own half as Atkins gets that ball from fullback Brown and busts to the halfway line once more. Vanit, ooh, there was a lead with a knee. That was an awful lead with the knee. No way you're allowed to get away with that sort of thing. Referee Presley just telling both sets of players to back off both ways. It's the touch judge coming on who told him, and we saw what it was, and I'm sure Steve Presley must have seen the knee as well. But it was a deliberate lead with the knee by number 8. There's no hand going to the pocket, he's just going to be warned. But that can be extremely dangerous. Well, Mr. Vanit shaking his head, and also the indications to the touch judge there. Unfortunately, we haven't got it on camera, but that could have cost him a lot. Stevenson, 12 metres inside the Hull Kingston Rovers half of the field as Martin Wood feeds, misses out Irvine onto Stoop. Stoop finds Pinkney. Pinkney's surrounded with the opposition, but he gets half away. McCourt doing the chasing and dragging him down all the way across to the centre of the field as Martin Wood acting half-back. And at long last, Mr. Presley has spotted the Hull Kingston Rovers defence at the far side. Oh, dearie me. David Larder putting the ball down there. The line was wide open, the try was on, but unfortunately the ball went down to ground. Over anxiety, over anxiousness. That's a hooter in the crowd. It's nothing to do with the timekeepers, although we are 1 minute and 20 seconds into stoppage time. As Rovers work the way, Charlesworth that is, the wingman in the far side, on the far corner of the field, moving across into the centre. £24 points to 12, the scoreline still reading. We've had tries for Keighley from Stevenson, from Pinkney, from Robinson and from Ayres. We've had 4 Simon Irvine goals as Rovers lose the ball. And for Hull Kingston Rovers, we've had that first half try from Gary Atkins and the other one from Chris Charles. As the ball lost, this man Coult, he's had a good game really as Coult, as the ball lost in possession. And he's just thinking about having a punch there. But there's the hooter, there's the final scooter.
The Cougars are marching on.
The referee stopped the clock, but the hooter's gone. Referee Presley not quite heard that, but just a little bit of lost temper there by McCourt in the final exchanges. He's had a superb game as Coult, but Keighley, they came back from, I won't say from the dead, but they were losing 6 points to 12 at half-time after having made a valiant defence of the slope and against the elements in the first half. 4 tries and 4 conversions, or 4 goals from Simon Irvine to the 2 tries and 2 goals from Hull Kr for Hull Kr. 24 points to 12, the full-time score. Really struggling against that Tannoy.
All the directors would like to wish everyone a happy new year, all the very best, and let's hope it's the year of the Cougars.
Well, we certainly concur with that wish. To all the supporters, happy new year, particularly to the crew from the crew up here in atrocious weather conditions today. We'll be at Huddersfield next week. We hope you can join us. Until then, good afternoon from us here.